are just that. Any topics of discussion during a broadcasted show is in no way the exclusive view nor opinion of the host or any Webb Radio Network staff. You're listening to the Fox Paranormal Chat on the Webb Radio Network. And now, Michael and Destiny Fox.
Hello.
Hey,
How's everybody
everybody
doing tonight? How are you doing, Jessica?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I hear somebody got her internet upgraded and she is so happy.
Finally, bye-bye Windstream. I'll tell you what, when I called them to cancel the service, I felt like I was breaking up with a toxic boyfriend.
You doing good, Kobe?
doing good. How about y'all?
Doing real good. We've got a good show going on tonight. We have none other than Jeremy Leonard, the Cajun demonologist, with us. How are you doing, Jeremy?
I'm tired, but I'm making it. How about y'all?
We are tired and making it too.
Yeah, my last 24-hour shift at work was, all I could say, it was a montage of heck. That's all I could say.
Montage effect.
Yeah.
It's been a long week, I think.
Well, I was so over it at 7. Look, we got another call. We had a motor vehicle accident. For 10 minutes till it's time for me to get off. And they needless to say, I said a couple of choice words. So I was so ready to go home.
It's good to have Charles watching tonight. Hey, Charles, how are you?
Yeah.
We have a fire probably within 5 miles of within our house. And it's burning uncontrollably. The fire department's asking for help. People with tractors, skidders, they're appealing for help.
That's never a good sign when they call for mutual aid like that, especially from civilians. All I can say is God bless everyone involved, because that's not a good situation.
It's good to have Jared watching. Hey, Jared. Love you. Love you too, Charles. If I don't tell you I love you too, then... Yeah, Charles, I had a little dental procedure today. I had
a little?
I went for one crown, and then the dentist was like, we really need to get that other done. And I was like, yeah, I'd really like to eat again. And so after we had already paid like $600, then they wanted another $600. And I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. So the dentist said, well, we're going to do it. I'm going to pay for some of it. So we're good. Actual truth, this actually happened. You can ask Michael. He was there with me. And so the lady from the front desk came down there, and she looked at the dentist, and she said, so you're going to cover this amount? And he said, yeah, I'll check out at the front desk as soon as I finish here. And I was like, thank you. I love you. So that doesn't happen every day. So
yeah, that's a little strange there or something. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I put a little
spell. Part of our business.
So, Jeremy, what's been going on with the demonologist?
As far as the demonologist goes, things have actually been pretty quiet here since the first of the year. I haven't. I've had a couple of conversations with people, consulting people as far as actually taking cases. I think I know my wife, she's the one who gets all the phone calls from these people, and she told me they had one person call her like 3 o'clock in the morning, another morning, and he's into all this black magic stuff, but he needs help, but he doesn't want to stop doing it. So yeah, it's just endless. It's endless.
Right. Do you think that there's a rise in people having demonic problems opposed to like when you first started being a demonologist?
Well, in order to answer that question, all you gotta do is look at the world we live in today, and I will say definitely, because as a species, as our moral code declines, demonic activity is going to increase.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you think it's really declined over the last few years?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, well, yeah, it's one of those things that there's definitely a rise in it too, but I think also something that I've seen a big rise is in people with medical mental illness. That also seems to be on the rise.
Yeah, I agree. There seems to be a lot more of it than what you used to hear about all the time.
Well, you got to think about it. Now, in the world we live in today, and, like for an example, if somebody told you they was playing with a Ouija board, 30 years ago, people's jaw would hit the ground. Nowadays, oh yeah, let me put it on a live stream. That'll make me popular. It's all about me. If you read the Bible, and the scriptures, they talk about that.
Yeah.
Destiny. Hi, Michael.
Hey. I hear Tammy.
You doing good, Tammy?
Doing good. How are you? Jeremy's trying to make me be quiet.
Oh, well, that won't never happen.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. Well, it's good to have you too. We love Tammy.
Yeah.
Tammy and I had a nice conversation the other day, the longest we've talked in a long, long time.
Yeah.
It was good to talk to her.
It was literally like 2 hens in a hen house, just pecking on.
Yeah, we got rid of the rooster. We had the 2, and it was 2 hens.
That's funny. I got an opportunity here. It's been 2 years now to witness, since Tammy's on there with Jeremy, to witness Tammy interviewing a client of ours.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I'm one of Tammy's biggest fans when it comes to interviewing. Ever since then, I tell everybody, nobody can interview a client like this lady can.
She did a good job.
Yeah, and for you people out there that's never met my wife or anything, I'm sure, especially the older generation, seen the movie Mary Poppins, right? So just think of Mary Poppins interviewing somebody. That's pretty much what it would be like.
Jeremy.
I'm just saying.
It takes a Mary Poppins to put up with you.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is normal conversation. Anytime we talk to them, this is normal conversation. I promise
This is
you.
normal. Everybody thinks we're arguing, but that's just us.
Yeah, we know. We've been there.
When we doing another investigation?
We're trying to do a show here.
Jared said the last church service he was in, his preacher said God is kind of lifting the veil from our eyes right now. I don't know exactly what that means, Jared. You mean, is he opening our eyes so that we can see more of the evil in the world, or?
Well, I mean, my interpretation of that would be is, and that all goes to prophecy, right? When you talk about the prophecy of like the Euphrates River, where supposedly 3 demons has been imprisoned underneath the Euphrates River, and once it runs dry, they will be released on the world and will end up killing 1/3 of the population. Well, little behold, who would ever thought the Euphrates River would run dry? But guess what? It's almost dry.
It's almost dry.
Yeah.
And, you got the war with Israel right now. I mean, all of that plays a role in all of that.
Yeah. Now, I've noticed too, a lot of our calls that we've been getting on the paranormal side, it seems like everybody is seeing demons.
Yeah, but I think that, and I'm just going to be honest, I think that's more of a how do I say? That's more of a pop culture thing nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because what people don't understand, and this goes to show you how much misleading information there is about demonic activity. People don't understand that demons do not want to be known. Okay,
No.
and they will never reveal who and what they are until they feel threatened. Okay, it's just like, you know, everybody portrays Lucifer, okay, or the devil as, you know, this man with horns and a tail and all of that.
Yeah.
That, look, if you read the Bible, Lucifer was one of God's greatest beautiful creation. Okay, so think about this: why would the devil present himself as something ugly? All right, that have people run away from him, rather than present himself as a seductive woman or something to have people drawn to him. Because we know, you know, that you have to invite demons into your life, same way you have to invite Christ into your life. And which way you think would be easier for people to accept? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. And a lot of people, what they do is they'll invite a demon in without even realizing they're inviting it in.
Absolutely. You know, and how do you know, in case you're wondering, how do you invite a demon into your life? Anytime you open yourself up to what you perceive to be a spirit, that's why demons love to take the appearance of children. Why? Because, you know, you're not going to feel threatened to communicate with what you perceive to be a child ghost. And anytime you start to get personal with the spirit, okay, you're inviting them in. That is why the Roman Catholics call it the rite of exorcism, as in a spiritual rite.
Yeah.
Well, then too, a lot of people that are first time experiencing paranormal, to them it is demonic. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
you
look,
know, they don't know that they've never had anything like this happen, and so the first thing they think of is a demon. I have a
well,
demon.
yeah, and look, there's a lot of, you know, what you would, and I always say it like this, you know, if someone was a butthole in life, and for whatever reason they don't completely pass on, they're probably going to be the same in death, okay?
So we know what
because that is their soul. That is part of who they are in DNA. And remember, spirits, especially earthbound, they have to draw energy from something, okay? It's just like we have to eat. They have to draw energy from something, especially to manifest or interact in the physical world or the terrestrial world that we live in. So if they can cause fear, okay, think about this. Energy wise, what is two of the most powerful energies in existence? Number one would be love, and number two would be fear. That's very powerful.
Yeah, fear is a very powerful energy source.
And so is love.
Yes. But that's what, you know, a demonic entity wants to create fear so it has something to feed off of.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Y'all there? I'll off you for a second.
Yeah, we can hear you a little.
For a second, what was y'all saying?
we were talking about, you know, how a demonic entity will create fear to feed off of it. It wants that atmosphere of fear around it because it's drawing its energy, it's drawing its strength from that. So the more energy and strength it gets, the more abilities it has to attack somebody.
Right, exactly. So have you ever watched, look, for the older people, have you ever watched the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze? Okay,
Yes.
so think of the concept. In order for him to move an object, he had to put a lot of anger, he had to put a lot of emotion in, and that is so true. So whoever wrote that script, they knew what they were talking about, because that is exactly what spirits have to do and able to interact in our reality.
Yes. You know, a lot of the people we've dealt with, you know, like I said, the first thing they say, you know, it's demonic, and we usually don't tag it right off the bat demonic till we are able to do an adequate investigation and go in there, and then we weigh the evidence that we have collected plus the testimony from the clients.
Or that one time we smelled sulfur, we knew for a fact what it was at that point.
Yeah.
You know,
and that investigation declined from there. It went crazy in a hurry.
I think from a paranormal investigator perspective, it's crucial. I mean, absolute crucial to never walk into or accept a case with any pre-notions of thinking it's demonic. Okay, so look,
Yes.
it's something I do. I walk in with the mindset of proving that it's not rather than it is. And the reason that is because if you want to find it, you're going to find something.
Yeah.
Something to convince you otherwise. And the way that I do, there's a process. There has to be 3 things that connect to demonic activity to me in order for me to even really, consider it to be demonic.
Sounds like demonic activity there by you.
Yeah, that woman can make so much noise.
Jared says when he experienced his paranormal stuff, one thing that he learned, your environment and the people you hang around bring it into your life.
Well, no. See, no, it is the complete opposite of that. Think about this. All right, so, and I say this all the time, what part of your existence would you say is your soul? It's going to be your thought, right? Because there's nothing physical about your thoughts. That is pure spiritual, okay? And we perceive the world by our thoughts, right? In other words, I can look at a flower and think it's beautiful. You can look at it and say that's just a piece of weed, right? It's all in your perception on the way you We are responsible for who we invite into our lives. Now, you can take this and place this on inviting demons into your life, just like you invite these wrong or negative people into your life that you shouldn't. That's the same way you invite demons into your life. You have to take responsibility for who and what you allow in your life. You cannot blame anyone else for that.
And that's the number one thing. Most of the time, they don't want to take responsibility.
No, it's
what
much
they've
easier
done.
to blame someone else. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to point. They want to point at somebody else, and they don't want to accept the responsibility of what they did.
Right.
That brought this into the existence in their life.
I want to play the victim.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I took the demonology class with you, your class with Destiny. So I did learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
She's definitely in the family of the demonologist, as far as I'm concerned.
I give her that. She's getting there.
Yes, she is.
I'm getting there slow but sure.
If she would just learn to listen a little bit better. Destiny's like dealing with a 5-year-old kid that suffers from ADD. Okay. And you tell them something, they know it, but for some reason they don't comprehend it. Until one day they're sitting there all by themselves and they're like, oh, I remember now.
You got to bring the demon out in her now.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as y'all go, I mean, I've had 300-400 people take the course. And I mean, you and Destiny are the only two that, I really even talk to on a personal, level daily,
right,
like that. So there was something, that I saw. Oh God, I hate to toot her horn, but anyway, there's something that I saw in Destiny, and there's something that I still see in Destiny as far as that. And I know how important it is to have people out there that know how the spiritual world works, because I've been in it for so long. And I mean, it's just like any country needs an army. Well, there's the army of light and darkness. You got to choose a side. So I knew there was something there with her, and I try my best to really mentor her, but she's making me old quick.
But
and something hard for me was being a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
And all that experience under my belt, and then making the transition from Destiny the paranormal investigator to Destiny the demonologist was hard in the beginning, because I started looking at cases too differently.
Right. And
I was expecting, because the first exorcism was kind of like, okay, all right, this is crazy. So I was on guard. if we went into a case, I was looking around, I was waiting on the signs. And
Yeah.
so I had to back off of that. And like you were saying earlier, you rule out the paranormal first, get your evidence. And
Right.
so that I don't know, making that change was tough for me for a while.
Yeah, and what demons are going to do? Demons are always going to try to make you play their game. Okay, it's like
Yeah.
playing a Russian roulette. They're going to try their best to make you play their game, and the only way you're going to win is by not playing their game. In fact, you're going to make them play your game without them even knowing. That's one thing about demons; they have severe egos. Okay, and that comes through because look, they all have their own personality. Okay, but one thing they all have that ego. And if you do your homework and you know how they operate, you can in fact use that against them. You have to make them think they're winning. Okay, because again, as I said before, demons never going to lash out until they feel threatened, and that moment they feel threatened, that's when the nastiness is going to come out. So you got to prolong that as long as you possibly can by making them think that they're winning.
Yeah.
And guys on them at the last minute. That's the only way to do it.
Charles asked a question. I'm not sure how to. Do you think that what we are seeing, and let me rephrase it, in different communities, some things going on that some might think were negative, is part of demonic society, like cults, um, different things like that?
Okay, so all right, so let me explain to you. In the celestial world, there are seven realms, okay, which means that I'm not seven, nine. There's nine realms, which means there's nine orders of angels, okay. Now, what do I mean by that? You have your seraphim, your cherubim, your dominions, your thrones, okay, all the way down to archangels and angels. All right, and all these different names is actually different job titles that they hold. That is what they were created for, okay. Now you have dominions, which are angels that is assigned to watch over mankind. Now, when the fall of Lucifer happened, some of those fell with Lucifer as well. Okay, so you have dominions that, in fact, are doing the same job that they were created to do, but now they're doing it for the kingdom of darkness. So, absolutely, look, if people really knew how much demonic grip that is on this world right now, it would blow your freaking mind. Again, and that all by the decline of our moral society. Okay, all of prophesized. Okay, and all of that is taking its course right now. That is what Lucifer has set out to do since the fall.
Absolutely. Hey, Youngblood, one of our team members, Ronnie Britt Jr. is watching. Give a shout out. I've been studying a lot about generational curses. Do you feel like a curse is some sort of demonic force keeping it active?
Well, so I'm going to ask you this question. What is the opposite of a curse? It's a blessing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Satan always mimics everything of God. So do I think that curses are real? I don't think that they're real. I know that they're real.
Yeah.
Just like black magic. Black magic is real. People look, then people are better off not knowing the truth a lot of times because look, and that just speaks to demonic activity. If you could walk around every day and see the spiritual world like you see living people, you would live your life absolutely terrified because they're everywhere.
Yeah. I agree with that. It seems like, they're around every corner.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we give them power or not is up to us.
That's right. You give them spiritual authority over you when you should be taking spiritual authority over them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jessica sent a case over to us. Well, didn't send it over to us. It's something we worked together. She went in and did an investigation there, and then wanted us to come and see what we thought about the situation as well. Was that your first encounter with demonic, Jessica?
Well, no, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and the minute you say demon in one of those UPC churches, people start putting on boxing gloves, and there was exorcisms done in the church
That's
with
that.
us sitting on the back pew. So not exactly the first, but the first one I had come across on my own as a paranormal investigator. Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, it was the first encounter that you had with a demon that wasn't on your terms.
Right.
Yeah. You know, as far as Pentecostal goes, I'll say this: there's a lot of different, branches of Christianity that do, some type of exorcism form or another. And I will say, when it comes to the Pentecostals, they are some of the best at performing deliverances.
Yeah, Charles said that was basically what he was thinking. Kobe's first encounter with the demonic was that particular case. It ran through me and then hit Kobe and threw him up against the wall. So, you have any questions for Jeremy? Because I know that had to leave you with some questions.
And maybe some brain damage too, huh?
Maybe.
It did. It was very powerful. It hit Mama first, and then threw me up against the wall. And ever since then, I've been completely different.
Yeah, that's like I say, that's when the nastiness comes out. It was exposed, and that's when it goes on the defensive instead of the offensive. And that is why, again, you have to make them think you're playing their game until you're ready to strike. Because a lot of times, if they strike first, then your percentage of succeeding declines dramatically. So you need to try to always strike first.
Right. Hello, Crossover Paranormal Society. And if any of you guys have any questions for Jeremy, please just go ahead and type it in, and I bet he has an answer.
Yeah, maybe not.
Jared, we are talking about a particular case, indeed.
Well, Jeremy, ever since we got involved in several of the demonic cases over the last few years, one standard we did change on investigating is when we go in, and if we suspect anytime during the investigation that something demonic may be at play there, we will pull back and regroup, and then we'll go at it at a different angle with a different mindset.
Right. And Michael has pulled us out and said, okay, this is a certain way, and this is how we need to approach it.
Right. And that's really smart. And I'm going to tell you why. So anytime you take on a demonic case, and people put this in perspective of how dangerous it is, okay? Not only do you have to worry about the demon attacking you, but you got to worry about it influencing the other people to attack you.
Right.
Okay. So you always have to be on guard, not only from the dead or the spiritual, but the living as well, because they can and will manipulate them. Hey, I know I've had a gun pulled on me by somebody, that was being oppressed. So believe me, it's all too real, and it can happen very fast.
It does happen very fast. And I will add to that once a demon has targeted you for any particular reason, it leaves a scar on you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely right, Dad. There's a phrase that I use: once touched by evil, it's never far away.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, the reason that I called in Destiny and Michael was because when I opened the bedroom where the roommate had been playing with playing in black magic, he had drawn some symbols up under the bed, and it's just crazy. But when I opened that door, a candle and a cross, I had a Saint Michael the Archangel candle burning and a cross were thrown down the hallway towards me in a room that was empty. It was thrown off of a table towards me.
Right.
So I aggravated it just by opening the door.
Yeah, and look, I will always, anybody knows me, I wear religious jewelry anytime I, take on a case. I had pair of rosaries around my neck one time on a case. And whenever I walked in their room, I mean, they all of a sudden my neck was like, it was burning. And it just, the plastic had just melted, man, like scars on the side of my neck for a while. So, you know, again, you have to understand you're not simply dealing with something natural. You are dealing with something that is supernatural, which means that is really outside of our range of comprehension. You know, especially whenever it comes to demons. So, you know, even though demons are fallen angels, they still hold that angelic part of their existence and who and what they are, and they still have that power. And believe me when I tell you, they're very powerful. You know, you talk about that. I mean, look, well, let's just go down the list of all the times I've been attacked. So I've been scratched numerous times. I've been bitten. I've been pushed downstairs. I had a washing machine thrown at me by something that wasn't there. I had one force me to have a heart attack. Um, you know, yeah, you know, people always, they glorify demonology for some reason. I don't understand, but I mean, it's there's just this mystique about it, I guess, and then there's reality. But I mean, in reality, there's nothing to glorify about it because you
No.
don't take a crazy person to look. People say, "Oh, I've dealt with demons." This, that, and that. If you ever truly felt one or dealt with one, it almost really takes somebody that's freaking nuts to willingly put themselves in that situation, you know. And I think about that all the time. They've got to be nuts. But at the same time, you know, there's a way that I've learned to cope with that. There's Jeremy, okay, which is who you're talking to right now. And then there's the demonologist, okay. It's almost like multiple personalities, okay. I only become him or that whenever I have to be. And I will tell you, and this is not, I don't want to sound conceited or nothing, but there's no fear. There is no fear when I become that person. Now afterwards, oh yeah, man, give me a fifth of whiskey because I, I got to wind down. But at that moment, it's almost like, so it's asking for spiritual authority and knowing when God gives it to you because you can feel it. It's like putting on a suit of impenetrable armor, and it's just, not be touched because you've been touched by the hand of God in a way. But see, here's the bad part. I always stay in God's grace. We're sinners, okay? I'm a sinner. I sin every day. You know, all I can do is plead for forgiveness. But I always fear that one time when he says, you know what, Jeremy, I'm not giving it to you this time. You know, you're not doing something right. I'm not going to give you that authority. And here you are. You're going to go prancing up in there like like you RoboCop or something. When the next thing you know, you done got chiseled up and put in many different pieces.
Yeah.
Hello, Kimberly. How are you? Good to hear from you again. Debbie, you asked a question, and I'll give you a reading sometime tomorrow evening. I do have something for you about Joey. Youngblood says he's been slapped before by provoking a spirit. Says he hasn't provoked ever since. I was there. I know what happened.
I remember that case. Yeah, I do.
So when it comes to provoking, something that I found, if you're just dealing with a haunting, a regular haunting and spirits, you shouldn't provoke, right? But now, if you're going into something and you know that it's negative, the only way really to draw that out is by some type of provoking. What are your feelings on that, Jeremy?
Well, see, that's a very dangerous and thin line, okay? Because what you say is partially true. But on the other hand, okay, we could go look at 28 Days Haunted. One of the biggest mistakes I made is I challenged it. If it wanted to get to Brandy, it had to go through me. That is a challenge. That is something I should have never done. Okay, you should never challenge these things because if you think you can win on that level, on a physical level, you might want to go check yourself into a mental institution. Okay, you have no chance of winning at that point. Now, provoking a demon can come to your advantage if you do it at the right time. Again, You don't play their game. You get them to play your game, right? But if you provoke it, okay, look, I provoked him before, and I used 28 Days Haunted as an example. Whenever I went and confronted that thing, I was provoking it. But guess what? I knew when to stop, okay?
Mhm.
I knew when that thin line was coming, and I went up. So if you're going to provoke, I guess the best way to put it, you have to have a purpose behind it, not a purpose of just provoking in general, because you're not going to win that battle. You have to have something behind it as the reason why. See, in my case, I was trying to gain back spiritual authority because I surrendered to this thing by challenging it, which means it had that spiritual right over me, and I was trying to gain that back. All right, now, if anyone's ever dealt with a demonic case or witnessed it with your own eyes, at the moment of expulsion, there's always what they call the last push. That's when the entity lashes out at you. That's when you'll have objects thrown at you, or you'll be scratched, bitten, or whatever at that moment of expulsion. All right, because he's giving you a little present before he leaves. Get what I'm
And
saying?
it stumps your foot.
Right. Now, whenever I gained back spiritual authority, if you go back and you watch that show, guess what Jeremy did? He stopped immediately. Why? Because I still respect this thing. I know what it can do. It just caused me to have a heart attack 24 hours prior. I was in a hospital and got stent. Okay. So I had great respect for that entity. And I wasn't going to push my boundaries too far.
Right. And Rachel says, is there an entity that would be one step under a demon? Now, I believe there's
Yeah.
different.
Yes, there is. It's like there's so you have to think of and that's going to be what you would call the Nephilim. Okay, that's going to be your step below demons, which means they're half demonic, or half angelic, and half human. They're hybrid. Okay, when the Bible says, and there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of man, the sons of God, saw the daughters of man, and they lusted after them, and they each took wives, all in which they chose, and they bore children to them. Those are the Nephilim. But look, just like I was telling you earlier, there's 9 orders of angels. Okay. There's also different orders of demons. Okay. Think of it in the military. You have your generals, your commanders, your officers that are giving the orders to the foot soldiers. Same thing works in the demonic world. Same thing that works in the angelic world. That's how they operate.
That makes total sense when you think about it too. A lot of people don't know. Desi and I had the opportunity. There's another side to the demonologist here. He's also was a paranormal investigator, and we got to work with him on that level too a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's use the old Pittsburgh. I think it's the old Pittsburgh Hospital. I have a unique way of investigating. I investigate what I call spiritual. In other words, I'm not a techie person. Okay. Look, we all have physical sense that we're born with, such as sight, smell, touch, all of those things. But we also have spiritual senses. All of us. Just most of us don't know how to use them. However, I do. Okay. And I use that to my advantage. In other words, if I walk into a room and all of a sudden this thought from nowhere pops in my head about something, I'm going to pay attention to that. Or if I walk into a room and I get goosebumps on my arm or something, or just deep down something telling me something ain't right here, I'm going to pay attention to that. Okay. Because I know that's my spiritual sense. That's my spiritual flight or fight, letting me know that there's danger or I'm somewhere I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think you one of your first books that you wrote was about how you went from paranormal investigating and ended up being thrust into the demonology side of it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I admire about you. You could have ran, but you stayed. And when at the time you were not equipped to help that client, you sought out every avenue you could to try to get this person help.
It's funny you say that because I contemplate that moment every day of my life pretty much, because that's the moment where you could either take the left-hand path or the right-hand path. And I wonder, what my life would be like if I never, saw the entity and never, brilliant idea. I'm going to try to help this family no matter what, because, this could be a hard road. You know, as I told Destiny before, and I've told you, Mike, I've tried to run from, you know, doing this several times over the years. Because it's just overbearing sometimes. And weight of the world on your shoulders a lot, because a lot of people, so if you ever been around somebody that think there's no hope, and then for, you know, all of a sudden out of nowhere they feel hope for the first time, and that's because they think that maybe you can help them. Well, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody's shoulders, you know, to make sure that it actually happens. So, you know, trying to run from it. And I truly think anytime you take a case like that, it takes a part of your life. You're giving up some of your life here on earth when you engage in that stuff. So I think of, would my life been better if I wouldn't have never done it? But at the same time, I truly believe that God's given me a gift, and I get this knowledge with all of this. And, you know, like I told him a long time ago, God me where you want me to go with this. And when you say it's enough, I'm completely fine with that. You know, you tell me when to stop.
I believe that if you had not been called at that time, you would have been called at a later time, because God knows your purpose.
Yeah, because that's what I was born for. You're right. And most people that, you know, become true demonologists, not just a paranormal title, but actually do the work. Most of them end up becoming it they've experienced with their own two eyes. Because let me tell you something. We'll go back to the Stinson case. When she told us that she went to a plantation and a demon followed her home and it was terrorizing her and her 3 daughters, I thought she was freaking nuts. Okay?
Yeah.
I thought she was freaking nuts. And if I would have never saw that thing with my own 2 eyes, I would still today probably think she was nuts. But the fact that I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and I couldn't deny it at that point, I was the only other person that truly knew that she wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
we've
was
had clients call just for regular investigations, and then the claims that they say are happening. I mean, you know, of course you want to believe everything they say, but when you get on location and you realize, hey, oh my God, this is really happening. They're really experiencing these things.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because you see, I used to think the same thing. But as bad as 28 Days Haunted was for me, there was a gift that was involved in all of that, because I experienced it through the eyes of a victim, okay, that had to live in an environment like that. Just like, you know, how many times have you went on a case and they said, oh, we hear voices all the time, like constantly, all the time. And you're in here, I got to use an EVP or a digital recorder to hear voices because I don't hear nothing. Lo and behold, on about week 3, being locked in that location, damn sure enough, you can hear voices, and you can distinguish between whether it's 2 females talking to one another or a male and a female talking to one another, but you can't tell what they're saying, but you can damn sure hear them. So guess what? Those people ain't crazy. I know that for a fact now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've had cases like that too. Not to the extreme like you had to deal with when you did 28 Days Haunted, but we've had cases, you know, where the client has told us they're hearing voices, and sometimes we didn't catch it on the digital recorder until like the second time going back or the third time going back on the investigation, and then we started hearing it everywhere.
Yeah, and you know what? That is also one way to determine. And see, this is another thing that is misleading when it comes to demonic activity. That's another way to be able to really filter out whether you're dealing with earthbound spirits or not. Because let me tell you, you would think that when you go to a location as a paranormal investigator, like or a demonologist, that all this stuff going to be going on because of demons in that house. No, it's actually the complete opposite. Again, they don't want to be known. It's very common to go there and not even get a spike on an EMF meter, for God's sake. Absolutely nothing. Why? Because they don't want you to know it's there.
Right.
They think they're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles says, since you're the Cajun demonologist, What do you think about those who believe in the marsh devil or Rougarou, or excuse my spelling? I know I'm probably going to get some laughs. No, I think you spelled everything right.
Well, so okay, let's talk about that. We can talk about the Mothman, the Rougarou, all these mythological creatures, right? So all the urban legends and mythology is all based on some truth. Okay, so how does the occult hold rituals? Well, have you ever heard of the old saying, "Praying in numbers is more powerful than praying"?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when you have a bunch of people in a small area that believe in something truly, think of that in energy wise. You're giving that thing life. You're creating it as in a mass group. You give it life. So, do I think that those things could actually exist? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I hate to say it, but it's true. But it doesn't exist in the way that you perceive it to exist. Okay, are people seeing the Mothman or the Rougarou? Yeah, but it is a manifestation. It's not something natural. Again, you're dealing with supernatural.
Right.
So you,
So go ahead, Jessica.
so you bring up something interesting, and I think you meant to say Marshman, but you said Mothman. I
Yeah,
actually grew up in West
Oh, okay.
Virginia.
yeah.
I
And
was wondering if there was a new one called the Marsh Devil.
I ain't
the
never.
So
Marsh
I
Devil
think you spell it
is
right.
a bayou thing, I believe.
Well,
But
no,
the
we have Rougarou. Okay, we have the Rougarou down here, which is
Yeah.
everyone else's version of either Bigfoot or, but it's more of a werewolf than anything. I'll tell you this: I live in probably about 3 miles from the southern swamp, and it's known as the most haunted swamp in America. And I'll tell you, as a kid, we used to go frogging and stuff a lot. And you do that at night. There are things that you will hear and see in the swamp that you're just like, nah, that couldn't happen. The best phrase to say is, I guess, the swamp comes alive at night.
ooh, creepy
Yeah, well, think about it. Moving water is what? That's spiritual energy.
energy. Yep.
You got to connect all of these
Make that
things.
noise.
So I grew up in West Virginia, and there the big thing up there was the Mothman. And we heard Bigfoot, but the Mothman, and it's connected with a river bridge
Yeah,
collapse along the Ohio River in the 60s.
exactly. And then it seems that after the bridge collapsed, the sightings had stopped for many, many years. Again, that energy. So, all right, best way to describe. So we live in the flesh, okay, which means that we are controlled by time because our body decays over time.
Right.
But spiritual realm, time doesn't exist like it does here. Okay. So in the spiritual realm, that accident could have already occurred. And all that energy that was created from that accident is what created that thing prior to before it happening. Think about it that way.
It's interesting.
I think a lot of more people are getting into
Cryptids.
cryptids.
Yeah, it does seem like we're hearing a lot more and more about the cryptids from people.
So
There's
I got a
there's
question.
a place not far from where we live where people have actually posted stories about seeing a wolf man.
Yeah. Hey, Kobe.
Yes, sir.
You're quiet. I'm gonna kind of get you in trouble a little bit. If you had to describe Destiny Fox as a type of cryptid, what would you say she is?
Sasquatch.
Kobe!
I would say she is the Wolf of Bray Road.
Because look, if you don't do what she says do, you get Destiny Fox shock therapy treatment.
Oh,
So, yeah, that's Sasquatch.
I know.
Kobe, you got a
I'm-
PhD in that now, don't you? The Destiny Fox shock therapy.
No, what it is Destiny has a temper. And if you cross her too much and too hard, Destiny will come down on you.
She'll
Won't
come
you?
at you like Sasquatch will.
Won't
She'll
she,
come right
Michael?
before the horse.
I come
Like
down
a powder
on
monkey.
So
like-
sometimes they like to push me, and
But
when they push me far enough, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to
Kid
you.
you not.
the audience, and I'll straight up tell you, I get great pleasure out of pushing her butt. I really.
I mean,
Right in my
it's
You
fun
know,
to it.
Jeremy,
It's
you
fun
get
to an
you,
extent until
you
she
get by with
loses
a
the.
lot, and let me tell you why. Um, it's because you challenge me.
Exactly. I don't bow down to you.
You have taught me not to be intimidated. You've said some stuff to me, okay? And you know, it's kind of built me up to where I can't be intimidated. And I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, because I've learned dealing with the demonic that demons want to intimidate you. And so because of you, you know, I don't have this fear going in. And it's never fear that I have. It's mostly intimidation. So I've got an immunity to that. And it's because of you.
Well,
So,
believe it or not, as I always tell you, I'm always testing you, and I say that to you all the time. But
yeah,
and I know what buttons to push. See, that's the bad thing. I
you
know
do.
what to push when it
Yes,
comes
you do. You
up.
do.
It's fun pushing them sometimes, but then you got to back off every now and then because she'll get fired up.
Well, that's just like going to the candy store for me. You know, get her fired up.
You know, somebody on the team's got to be rough and tough to keep everybody in line, and keeping them in line keeps them safe on investigations.
I
Because they've
think
got
when
that one person that'll say, no, stand down. No.
I think when the four of us get together and you and Jeremy get started, Tammy and I just stand back and shake our heads.
Oh, it's hilarious. You know,
Do they?
I
Do they
told
do that to us,
earlier
Jeremy?
before I remembered I had to do this interview. We were saying something. I said something about Destiny. Oh, about me and Monopoly. How every chance I get, I'll freaking tear her shit down. All right.
You do.
I had great pleasure out of doing that. And like I was telling my wife, I was like, I absolutely love.
Well,
I'm
I mean, I
sitting
can't
here,
do it anymore.
Michael,
You know
look how
why?
childish this is.
They blocked. You know, I got blocked, Jeremy, so I can't do it because I tore her and Daddy down too much.
I took him off my game. I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah, I keep waiting for you to take me off. Every time I get on there, I was like, let's see if she's still on there. Because what was it? The other night I hear her.
No, because there's going to come a day that I'm going to know you're sick or something, and you can't get on for a while, and you're not going to have nothing left.
That's why I wait till late
I
at
mean,
night.
nothing.
Well, actually, when you do it, she starts screaming, "It's demonic! It's demonic!"
I can picture that.
The power of Christ compels you.
The
She
power
used
of
to just-
Monopoly.
She used to look at Daddy and go, you know what, get him. And then they tag team
Oh, I
you.
know they were
Couldn't
tag
do
team.
anything.
We have double teamed another couple. They were hitting our shields, and so Michael and I bought a whole bunch of dice, and we sat on the bed, and I said, you get him, I'll get her. And so they were hitting us back and forth. Okay, I'll get him, you get her. And back and forth. I mean, this went on for hours, and lots of money later. And I know they had to spend some money too, but it was the Foxes against this other couple, and we love them. We really do. And I don't even know why we did it, but
Yeah, I let the evil side take over, and I mean, it definitely was demonic because I couldn't control myself after that.
Oh, I know, right? You just
yeah, I had to cast that demon out.
Yeah.
Oh, spend 10 more. I know. Look, I got in trouble a while back for that damn Monopoly. It's bad because I was spending money too for dice. My wife found out about it. Oh my God, I thought I was.
So I thought I was being slick, so I was buying dice out of my account, my money. Okay,
No, our account.
Michael, well, it was my money in our account.
It was my
But
money
for
too.
some reason, Monopoly decided to start sending Michael emails that I was buying Monopoly dice. Just out of the clear freaking blue, just.
Yeah, so now what I got to do is, because I can't buy dice, I won't play for about 2 days and let it build up, and then I'll go.
I'll add you on, Jeremy. I mean, Jared.
Yeah.
I sure will.
We had a case here a few years ago, Jeremy. I'm going to run this by you. We had a client. It was in the Atlanta area.
Mm.
We took the case, we went, and we were conducting the investigation. And the client themselves started, I mean, it was very odd. It's like they could appear and not appear. And I got to thinking, were we just contacted maybe by an entity that wanted us to investigate them?
Jeremy, this was the craziest investigation. The guy said he was talking to rats. Okay. And it was Christmas time. We go to this residence. We didn't hear all the stuff that sounded impossible till we actually got there. We go to this house and it looks just like a house that you could film a horror movie in. There was no power to this house. The only power was one line that was possibly hooked directly from the power pole into a lamp or something. The guy that had contacted us would appear and disappear the whole time we were there. Like we would be outside talking, then all of a sudden he would be standing beside us. And then he's standing beside you. You turn to look at him and he's
Were they
gone.
practicing black magic?
Shapeshifter?
Well, he said he was praise and worship leader at his church. So
What kind of church was it?
Yeah.
well, true.
But, I'm sure a lot of people have had, I know I've had the experience, my name being screamed across the spirit box.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm not saying entities aren't aware of who we are.
Oh, no, they're very aware of who you are. And believe me, once
Yes.
you start doing
But what would cause this man to have the ability to do this stuff? I mean, he even locked Michael and I in a room with a shovel.
So let me see if I'm going to answer this as honestly as I can. Do I think that the demon contacted you to go there? No, I don't. But so this happens a lot, all right. And I give this a phrase. It's called a demonic gangster drive-by. That's the name I give it. Mm-hmm. So, like, if somebody contacts me about a demonic case, and let's say I'm going to go tomorrow night, well, I can almost suspect that it's going to make its presence known in my house at some point through that night by maybe like hitting the bed, something falling off a shelf, something to let you know that he knows that you're coming. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the only way that I can 100% positively answer that question.
Right. And when we have a negative case coming up, well, it don't even have to be negative. Sometimes we start experiencing the same thing in our house after we interview a client. The exact same things start happening in our home.
Do you think that talking about it in your home creates the energy? Because, I mean, you're empathic. You can feel some of that. Do you think that some of it is like self-manifestations because of that?
We can't hear you, Jeremy.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Okay, so think about this. Why in the spiritual scriptures it tells you to never say a demon's name because you give it power. Okay, anytime you think of a demon or call upon them or say their name, you're giving them power. So absolutely.
Now there has been cases too that I want to throw out there where you've had demonic activity and you've had human haunting activity in the same residence. And it's almost like the demonic is controlling the human entities.
Okay. This is something I've got to ask you. Okay, so 28 days haunted. All right, the negative energy, the demon, was basically controlling the human spirits, correct?
Yeah. So you got to think of them as like prison guards. And this happens a lot. All right. So what do they try to do? They try to bring those spirits to hell for Lucifer. Why? Because they get rewards for doing it. That's why it's dangerous for spirits to stay in what you call purgatory. They're completely passing on.
Yeah.
Right. So I've always wondered about purgatory too. We were watching Chucky, the series Chucky, and they were doing an exorcism on Chucky, right? Yeah. And some things were said that really made me wonder, you know, is that the reason that we see human spirits? Because they actually have not left, so to speak. They're in this stage waiting to cross over.
Well, well, in the past, how long I've been doing this now? Since for the past 20 years. This is what I've come the conclusion that I come to. Now, you take biblical scripture involved in this. When you die, the Bible says you're judged by the Lamb's Book of Life. Okay, before you can enter into the gates of heaven or go to hell, for that matter. Okay, which means you have to be judged first. And I think that a lot of people, when they die, they realize, oh shit, God really is real. And I was atheist my whole life for this, that, and the other. I ain't going toward that light. I'm going to stay right here. They refuse to go toward the light and completely pass over. And that is what we call purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I come to. That's the conclusion I come to. Because once you get judged, then you get sent to hell. But as long as you don't go in front of the judge, well, you can hide. You're a fugitive.
Yeah, you're kind of on the run.
Yeah. That's the conclusion that I've come to over there.
But how would you deal with a case where you've got a demonic controlling the human spirits that are there too? How are you going to deal with those two different? Because I mean, the demonic is one thing you deal with.
Well, and the way that I do that is because I'm given dominion over the demonic by God, which means that I can pull these spirits away from the entity. Okay, by that authority that's given to me, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, Jeremy, it looks like we lost Destiny and Michael here.
Yeah, we
I'm
lost.
not real sure we're going to get them back. So I wanted to give you an opportunity here to tell us about the Cajun ministry and tell us about your rosaries. Oh, here they are.
Well, the Cajun ministry in 2019. Look, it was like the more popular or well, no one use the word popular. The more well known that I became, the more people would start reaching out to me outside of my area. We all know that costs money. So instead of charging the client or the victim, which is something I don't believe you should do, I still had to find some kind of way to raise some money in order to be able to pay for travels. So through the ministry, nonprofit organization, I opened a raffle page. It's called Paranormal Equipment Raffle Page. And all the money that's raised through that's what it's for. And Dominion Rosaries kind of got started. His previous name was Cajun Hut Jewelry. He got started by being on Ghost of Morgan City. Years ago, my wife bought me a horseshoe nail cross necklace. And I wear it, and it's actually on my altar. It's very sacred, and I treat it with much respect. I use that as part of my protection. Well, people always ask me, where did I get that from, and how can they get one? So Jeremy coming with the bright idea, I'll start making them and sell them, okay? You know, my brand. So I started off doing that, and the orders started coming in. I'm like, oh, geez. So Jeremy has a very compulsive personality. My wife could tell you that whenever I set my mind on something, what was the word you used? I become crazy or something?
You're obsessed.
Oh, I'm obsessed with it. Okay, I get
Yeah.
obsessed. Obsessive personality, she says. Well, then I was watching YouTube one day, and they was making paracord bracelets. Well, hell, I want to learn how to do that. So I spent hours learning how to do that. So then it went from horseshoe nail crosses to paracord bracelets to beaded bracelets. Hey, man, I want to make that. I could do that. And I started doing that. Then I had the bright idea to start making paracord rosaries. Then after that, I had the bright idea of making beaded rosaries. As you can see, some of the beads here that I got for some orders coming up. So that's how it was created, basically. But you know what? It's almost therapeutic for me. I love to, it's like wine taking all the stress off, and to have a vision of something in your head and looking at it as a final product, and you say, damn, that looks good. And I even surprise myself. And I do that sometimes.
So I am the proud owner of a Jeremy Leonard original here.
Mm-hmm. Does yours have a date of birth on it yet?
No.
Because whenever I swapped over the name, and I just started doing this last week, I created what you call the moment of creation. It's like God created us, the moment of creation. When I create a rosary, it comes with a certificate saying what day it's actually made on. But I just started doing that.
Well, it's beautiful and it's very high quality.
Yeah, it is. And my rosaries have lifetime warranties on them. If it ever breaks, and it was, from something faulty on it, all you gotta do is mail it back to me, and I'll fix it and ship it out. And I think since I've been doing this 2019, I probably had two people ship something back for one reason or another to get it fixed. But that's the warranty that I give them, and part of that is because, again, it's for my own self pride, because I do take such pride in making those things.
They're also individually blessed by you, aren't they?
All right, so they let me. All right, so I'm gonna show you audience this real quick. I have an altar in my house, in my office, and whenever I make the jewelry, it sits there for 3 days, which represents the Trinity. God, I hope my office is clean. Well, yeah, somewhat. Yeah. All right, so let's see. If you can see this, can y'all see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, so that's the altar. Whenever they get created, they go on this rack right here. All these candles get burned, and you see this coin right here. This coin actually set on the tomb of Christ. But anyway, the frankincense and everything gets burned here. Here's the holy water and everything, and it sits here for 3 days, which represents the Trinity, which is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And then it gets shipped out.
Okay, we have someone asking how they go about ordering one.
Now, you can either message me on Facebook, but you can go to Minion Rosaries Facebook page and look at some of the pictures they got. Take a screenshot, send it to me. Say, hey, do you have this one? And I'll tell you whether I do or not.
I think I may have 1 or 2 of Jeremy's rosaries.
Oh, we have about 10 of them.
Yeah.
No, I've got more than 10.
Yeah.
Aren't they all hanging from your rearview mirror?
I have 10 hanging from my rear mirror. And then there's one in the house.
I also make pocket rosaries, which is that small ones that you can hang on your rearview mirror, or you can carry it in your pocket with you. There's different styles that I do.
Yeah, he can special make them. He doesn't like doing that, but he actually made one for our portal.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go there. That's part of the reason why I stopped doing it for a while, because people say, oh, I love this, but do you have it in a different color or whatever? And I'll be like, yeah, I can make one for you. And it got to be too much. Now it's kind of like, this is what I got. You take it or you leave it.
Yeah.
He made one for Michael, and I've got to hand it to him. He did special make it, and I ordered some stuff and sent to him, and it's one of a kind.
Yep, I have several that's one of a kind.
And it is absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, I like to feel myself.
Right by my bed.
Yeah.
I do
on those picture.
That's just like the one Jessica's got right there. It's real pretty. It's like a vibrant blue and red bead, and it's kind of like intertwined, almost like tie dye. And I think that one's got the silver spacers in between it, and it's got the white.
It's got a rose.
Yeah, rose.
On the cross. I'll try to hold it where it can be seen.
Oh, I saw one on. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that one's
beautiful.
The beads are.
I made that one at 3:00 in the morning, sitting at the fire station.
It's beautiful.
Jeremy, real quick, if somebody suspected they might have a demonic activity going on, what would your advice to them be right now?
My advice would be to, reach out to paranormal teams. But here's the thing, don't reach out to just one. I would have several come to do the investigation and see if they all come up with the same hypothesis or not. Because there's teams out there that think they know things about demonic activity and really have no clue.
Right.
Okay? So it's important to never take someone's opinion just on face value. You got to test them and see whether they shooting the shit or not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could always, also contact the church. But it usually takes the church a while to get involved in it because, we live in a world now where you can be sued by saying the wrong word to somebody. So
Right.
they kind of iffy to get involved, but they will get involved. There's also ministries out there that, deliverance ministries all over the place. And the good thing about it, we have the web now. All you got to do is type in, oh, hey, I'm being traumatized by a demon. Who could help me?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could always Google something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Destiny and I, we've networked with so many different teams across the country.
Yeah.
We're able to do exactly what you just suggested. If we investigate it, we have the contacts to get another team from another area to do
that's what I do.
See what they come up with.
Right. And we have had to refer some clients out, like
Yeah.
Washington State.
Yes.
Well, that was a little out of our reach. So we were able to find these clients, someone in their area. Actually, they had to travel about 150 miles to get to them, but we did find them help. Our time is running out. Stan actually has another show here in a little bit, I think. Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you owe me now.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Go make Tammy her bracelet that she's still waiting on.
All right. Well, we'll discuss it.
Let me shoot Stan a message. He's actually out of state.
He said he was in Florida tonight.
Yes, he's in Florida, and we're doing the show. I want to give a shout out to our producer, Stan Fikes. He is doing a fantastic job, and we are so proud to be a part of the Webb Radio Network.
And the Paracon coming up.
Yes, we've got 3 that we're doing this year. We're going to Gettysburg in July for the Christmas in July thing, and we're excited about that. Then we're going right back to Gettysburg for the Warrens Supernatural Paracon. Also, sure, Kimberly, you can send me a picture. Also, the first weekend in October, Deep South Paracomic-Con, and we've done that. This will be the 3rd year in a row, and we're excited about that. It's a little closer to home, and not a bad drive at all for us. So we look forward to that one. It is always good.
And I mean, I know Destiny and I know Jeremy does. He always enjoys, at these Paracons when you come and say hello and talk to us or talk to Jeremy. We love visiting with people and talking about the paranormal with people or the demonic side. It's just been a blast, and it's been such a blessing, all the people we've met across the country over the last few years.
Yeah, you do meet some good people.
All right, guys. Hey, Jessica, it's good to see you. I miss you.
Miss
Bye.
you too.
See you, Jeremy.
All right. Bye.
Peace and love.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Kobe, I can't say I miss you because I see you every day.
Love you, Bubba.
All right.
Love you too.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.